Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Here it's Rock and Roll Swap Convention with the weekly comic book roundup, and we'll be moving on to cosmic books and movie tie-ins. We're going to kick things off with Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1, though I'm rather suspect of it being the first Guardians Annual. So anyways. Okay, so we've got 4 stories. One is a bookend story, and with the other 3 being in the middle. First off, we've got our bookend story, Faith. Cosmo is looking for the other heroes that fell through the black hole at the beginning of the series. And it does kind of appear he's being mind-controlled. Moving on to A Long Time in Politics. Nova, Richard Rider, shows up at a bar, or to be exact, Tharg's bar on All 3. He orders a beer at the bar, and it turns out it's 30 credits. Anyways, Quasar shows up, covering it for him, and explaining he got that Surfer got a lot of the heroes out of that black hole. So they go to talk, and it turns out that Nova is on therapeutic leave. He was in the crawl system on. Apparently, there was a group of Crawlians, who dressed like old-time mobsters. Well, there were a bunch of Skrulls there attacking them, and Nova was offending them. He ended up killing the soldiers when he's informed by Commander Adist, or Adsit. I don't want to say Adist, but Commander Adsit, that the Skrulls have pulled out of the Pan-Worlds Treaty, and they were there they were there on official Skrull business. And then turns out that 10 minutes previously, the Skrulls had triggered a process which detonated the sun and the rest of the system. The Nova Force used the heat and radiation, however, of the supernova to power Nova's shield. And so he watched as every living being there was destroyed. And he realized that he's actually seen worse, so yeah, therapeutic leave. Turns out things are going further and further downwards though. The Kree have grown a new Supreme War from an other dimensional Plex intelligence, but it was a faction of Kree explorers, warrior types, that didn't like it, so they staged a coup. And it's now a Kree civil war with the utopian Kree being stomped and Ronan the Accuser dead during Death of the Inhumans. And if the warrior faction, Kree Imperium, if they win the civil war, they're pulling out of the Pan-Worlds Treaty too. The Shi'ar, they only play along to be polite. If everyone pulls out of the Pan-Worlds Treaty, it's the beginning of something. It's the end of rule of law in the galaxy, and the beginning of something unimaginable. And then so Quasar then brings up the woman he was training to be his replacement, Admiral Kincaid. It was believed she was killed during the Chitauri migration. She flew into a shield around Earth and was presumed killed when it went down. But however, when the Silver Surfer used the power cosmic to get everyone out of a black hole, he tried to help, using the quantum bands pushing in the same direction. And all the forces working together showed him something in the quantum realm. Ever. So she may be lost, but she can be found. But Richard then goes off on Quasar for basically, being biggest for seeing the biggest of the big picture. And his picture is too big. And it's given him this blind faith. Goes on to explain that Nova goes on to explain he lives in the background of the damn big picture. And he sees the thousand little things that keep running it. The politics. Hardliners taking over. Wars spreading, a galactic economy in pieces from years about people and inequality. Everyone's always looking at Thanos. No one's ever looking at 30 Cred beer. But Richard flies off and explains he's going to take one more thing. Just one. One unforeseeable event. One new player in the game. It's all it's going to take to start the collapse. And unless he knows what to look for, unless they know what to look for, no one's going to see it coming. The big white light washes over Quasar and explaining that Nova's wrong and Quasar must have faith. That's where the story ends. Next up, we got Advent Horizon featuring Warlock. He's trapped in the black hole as well, but then he gets spat out onto the planet Rias, where he's mistaken for a god. He lands in their temple even. So he talks with some of the natives, learning about them in general, and learning about their god, the circumstances of how they came to worship said god during a drought. See, these beings, they reproduce 3 at a time from one. And it's not exactly easy to feed an exponentially growing society like that. So, but suddenly something fell from the sky and had fruits, water, fuel for burning. So, obviously it must be from a god, so they pledged themselves to him. So Quasar goes up into space and finds the tentacly creature up there, and the two duke it out, and Warlock very handily defeats the tentacly creature playing god. And he decides he will protect them. The people of Rias, their purity, and he will protect them from the truth of their God. Moving on to You're Only Young Once, featuring Darkhawk. Darkhawk got pulled in as well and was being stretched apart, and he got separated from the armor. And so we're tumbling through space and time and all that other fun stuff, and pulled onto a ship feature included a Skrull, a Shi'ar, and a Kree all together, and realizes there's a hand inside Well, things are different. He's trying to figure things out. He takes off his helmet in front of a mirror. And he's a kid again. A kid in the Darkhawk armor, but a kid. Now we're back to Cosmo explaining that Darkhawk is obtained, as is Quasar. However, Warlock could not be obtained. Too much interference, including a crazy tentacle space god. The fight a fight with a crazy tentacle space god that fried the drone. Then, of course, we learn that it's the Universal Church of Truth that is collecting everyone. And it seems that the person they want next is none other than Peter Quill. You know, Star-Lord. And that is where the issue ends. Moving on to Old Man Quill number 6. Where we left off, Peter Quill was becoming quite the celebrated hero of the Wastelands. But he'd also attracted the attention, finally, of various parties, including the pursuing Imperial Guard of the Universal Church of Truth. We open with a flashback where, after the Church of Truth attacks Spartax, and it turns out that his daughter died in his arms, back to Owlsley's nest on Earth. Well, he's in a similar situation as what is his name? Pulsar destroyed the church full of people. So the Guardians and some of the remaining people of Owlsley's Nest attack Pulsar. Their weapons aren't doing a whole lot of good, but Drax has an idea. And he lands an axe in the Pulsar's containment suit. So Pulsar crashes into a building and causes it to blow up. The fight continues, and they wrap Pulsar in barbed wire, which really messes up his containment suit. And he lets himself go. He lets himself die. It's firing off the energy that is him. And the rest of the Imperial Guard see it. They're finishing up an impromptu autopsy of Fin Fang Foom to make sure that Quill is not in Foom's stomach. Meanwhile, in Superior Flats, someone is spray painting Avengers Assemble on a wall, and is caught by a Doombot. However, Viv Vision quickly phases through him, and they see the explosion of Pulsar as well. Deciding they must get there before Doom does. However, the explosion was Pulsar leaving his containment suit, heading towards the Church of Truth to explain what has happened. He makes it to New Xandar and passes along that Peter Quill is on Earth, but he does not have the relic, and he does not have allies. The planet is no longer defended by champions. And so, the flagship lands on New Xandar, and the priestess kneels and passes along what information she has to their lord, to the church's lord, who is revealed to be none other than Galactus. Which, okay, I take offense to this because I'm sorry, but can we stop having Galactus? Can we stop painting Galactus as a villain? He's a force of nature. A tornado isn't evil. A hurricane isn't evil. He's the living embodiment of entropy. He is so above us that, yeah, it's not even funny. Anyway, moving on to Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History, number 4. So where we left off, Frank met Uncle Fredo and made it very clear he knew, and made it very clear that the jig was up. So we start off with Frank and, well, Frank duking it out in the Castle family garage, I want to say. And so Cosmic Ghost Rider's up, and which is enough to stop his younger self from, continuing to beat on him. And so TGR explains to Frank that he's one of the Howling Commandos. We get to see him on D-Day, then running with the Howling Commandos afterwards, in the lead up to what would be Cap's final mission in World War II, even. And though it turns out the only German he ever learned was Gesundheit. Yeah. But Cap and Bucky make their fateful flight with Baron Zemo's rocket drone. Then it also turns out that the Howling Commandos killed Hitler, but made it look like a suicide for morale, because that would be really demoralizing to the Nazis. So, meanwhile, back on the moon, Uatu, the Watcher, has been becoming increasingly worried about the effects of the Rider's dalliances with history, and so he uses the time gem to see the true scope for himself, and, well, decides that the Rider must be stopped at all costs. Yeah. See, this is a fun book. I mean, I'm sad it's going to end next month, but yeah, it's so much fun. Anyways, final book for the video is Star Wars Age of Rebellion, Luke Skywalker. So this takes place between Empire and Jedi. It starts off in the Outer Rim at an Imperial refining platform. And a group of commandos is taking control of a support vessel, and they're going towards the platform, but they've got a fighter escort, Luke Skywalker. And so Luke helps them get through, and most of the commanders are impressed. One of them, however, has only seen one other person wield a lightsaber the way Luke does, Vader. We cut to Vader talking with the Emperor. And Vader is still trying to say, hey, look, seriously, the Skywalker kid would be, if we could turn to the dark side, it would be beneficial to us. And the Emperor's like, yes, yeah, of course. And so the Emperor tries to contact Luke, and Luke kind of gets a feeling something's off. And then a Star Destroyer appears, and a dogfight begins, and seemingly the cruiser is destroyed. Luke crashes his X-Wing on a planet, leaves his flight suit and his lightsaber behind, and him and R2 start walking and find a farm, and Luke's living on said farm, but then he comes out of it. And manages to get aboard the ship. Turns out that the Major, who's in charge of the mission, he's sending a beacon, and using his shuttle as a decoy so the rest of the crew can escape. However, Luke won't let him go and flies with the Major, by saying, you're gonna need a pilot. And so the 2 hours and 7 parsecs away, the Major, is being hailed as a hero and insisting that Luke take a bow, and Luke says, no, this is your time. So yeah. And that was Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, Luke Skywalker. I think there's 1 or 2 more Age of Rebellion one-shots. The next one's Darth Vader, though. Anyway, that is it for the Cosmic and movie tie-in books. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon can be found in the description box down below. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put up new content, and live long and rock hard.